Yo, what's happening? RC the Trackaholic. This is the Cide Show. TheCideshow in the building. Tonight we got a wonderful guest. This is my man Novocaine 132 in the building. What's happening?
Yo, how you doing?
Man, I'm chilling. We gonna get it together sooner or later.
Well, I want to tell you a story real quick because
okay. Is this about the 132?
It's about the 132.
Okay.
Because a lot of people ask me and they say, what's the deal? And basically, here's how it breaks down. If you lived in Seattle a long time, you know that there's a restaurant called Elephant and Castle on 5th Avenue.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Underneath the hotel. And they have this deal where you pay a certain amount of money. They did back in 20 years ago, and you could get your mug hanging on the wall.
Oh, word!
So it'd have your name on it.
Okay.
And so the person before me was 131.
Okay.
So my name came up. My lucky number came up 132. So I had the mug at the place down there, Elephant and Castle. So
yeah,
it all comes back down to drinking beer, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. So you just picked the number. You're just like Novocaine. That's your lucky
No, if
number?
I would have come in next week, I would have been Novocaine 136 or 139 or something.
Right.
I came in at just the right time.
Wait, is that place still there?
There's construction down there. I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure.
You said on 5th. You said it was the Elephant. Oh, it had the elephant in front.
Yeah, it's like a brew pub from Australia or England
downtown
or something. Yeah, yep.
I know what you're talking about. I remember that place. I think now. What is it now? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I actually had my wedding reception there, but I can't. Anyway, so I want to say that I'm so glad that you came down. Of course, turn my phone off. I'm just gonna leave that in there just for a lesson for me.
Yeah. So, do most of your guests bring you a gift?
No.
See, that's what I'm saying. They should. They really should.
What you got?
Okay, I'm into rap history in Seattle, and I don't know if you have this record yet, but this is basically Little Ray Rapper from 1981. So this is the first rap record from Seattle. And it was recorded in 1980, but he didn't get the deal till 81. So the record came out in 81.
Dig that. Okay, man, thank you.
So that's your copy.
That's dope. Man, okay, that's what we're going to get into. We're going to get into this vinyl, man, because you have been moving around here on this vinyl game, something vicious. And I also want to tell you, though, because I know you found me a while ago, but you always made it a point to give me or, get me the records. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many people you give them to, but I know I'm privileged to have, for you to just, you call me up and be like, hey, I need to give you these records. That's dope because ain't nobody ever really treated me like that before. but so tell me how all of that started. How did it start? Was it a record company first or what?
I'm going to actually trace it back to the beginning of the pandemic was 2020.
Okay.
And everybody had to stay home. So what do? You look for new ways to do things. Everybody did that.
Right.
And so I realized the best way I could make use of my interest in Seattle rap was to look at old records and see which ones have disappeared and which ones are falling through the cracks.
Right.
I came across this record by Chili Uptown.
Chili Uptown.
Now, his story is remarkable. I could go on for an hour about just Chili.
Give a short version.
But basically, he's from Chicago. The guy he was in the Army. He moved to Seattle, started recording, and dropped a full album the same year as Scunt. So those guys basically Mix and Chili.
83?
80. This was 88.
88. Ooh,
Mix and Chili. Mix and Chili both dropped full-length albums at the same time.
Okay. All right.
So that was the first rap records out of Seattle. And then he had a couple other records. One was from 92, and it's kind of a gangster classic. And I would call him the Too Short of Seattle.
Okay.
Because Seattle doesn't really have a Too Short. I mean, we've got a lot of other guys, but there's not really like a Too Short of Seattle. Chili's all about sex. He's all about just being a player, just living his life. He never takes anything too serious. And that's what is his positivity, is his strength. Like,
gotcha.
I really think he's like the Too Short of Seattle with a little bit of Cool Keith in there too, because he's got a weird, wacky side, kind of like Cool Keith has.
Okay. Cool Keith and Too Short for all the way from Seattle, and he's not from Seattle. Where's he from?
He's from Chicago, he spent most of his life here in Seattle, most of his adult life.
Right, and then was there another guy in the group or did? Oh no, wait, he there was two guys, but then he took both the names.
Exactly, man. You did some research on that.
Yeah.
Uptown was a dude from New Jersey. And they were both in the Army together.
Oh, okay.
So Uptown said, hey, man, they were a duo called Chili Uptown, but then Chili kind of went his own way, and he said, "Can I use the whole name?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, man, use the whole name." So,
oh, okay, so Chili Uptown.
Yep,
Dig that. Yeah, I mean, like when I was younger, I vaguely remember like Chili Uptown. Remember when Swass came out. What else was coming out around then? Like what was that? What's the group that Wojak was in?
Criminal Nation.
Criminal Nation, High Performance. But they were all Nasty Mix too, though.
Yep.
Around that era.
Yep.
Okay. Now, we'll get more into that, but I really want to know where did hip hop like start for you, or just where did life start for you?
Well, I'm a Seattle born. I'm Seattle born, 51 years old. So I was in high school when Swass hit. Mm-hmm. That was really my first exposure to Seattle rap.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I heard all the other rap. We heard Run DMC. We heard LL Cool J and Curtis Blow. But when Swass hit at my very, very white bread high school, Blanchette, every kid was playing Swass.
Right.
Every kid was playing Swass.
Right.
Out of their Volkswagen Rabbit or whatever they were driving. This was 88.
Dig it.
And I was a junior in high school, about to be a senior. And so I saw the magic of Swass right away. Like that record is still magic to me. Mm-hmm. And so that was really my birth back then. I just became a super fan, bought my 1200s, became a DJ, played in clubs.
What clubs did you play at?
Just weird little bars around Seattle, man.
Hey, come on, you gotta shout them out.
We tore it up at this place called the Quarter Lounge. And then it was called the something pepper adobo, the adobo lounge on Madison Street.
Okay,
that place we tore that up for like 2 years, right across from Sorrento Hotel.
Okay, dig it. Okay,
that place was pretty dope. Mm-hmm. And then we played under the Labor Hall, man, at that bar in the basement of the Labor Hall in Belltown.
Belltown.
It was called Mira back then.
Word.
A Spanish name.
Go downstairs.
Down the basement. It's got all this weird iron railings and stuff down there. Marble walls and everything down there. That place is haunted, I swear to God.
Word. Okay. You say this why?
We played there for a year, and it's just a creepy building.
Right. I want to say that if I'm not mistaken, I hope it's not a reach, but I think I've been to that place, but it was called something else. You said a lot of weird iron and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
it's been a restaurant. It's been a bar. It's been a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I think I went there to see somebody DJ.
Yep.
I think Peg was DJing there. That was a long time ago though.
So we did that, and then basically I started writing at the Flavor.
Okay.
This was 95.
Okay.
And as a active DJ, I had fallen in love with hip hop. Found the Flavor, talked to Allison and Rachel and SK Honda. They were the three kind of ladies running it at the time.
Okay.
And they let me become a writer, and that was really dope.
Flavor. Now, was Mike Clark at Flavor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. I remember. I think me and my brother. I think we bought some ad space in Flavor at one time or another.
It's vital to the Seattle rap scene, and so I piggybacked that, and then I started writing at the Rocket. Which came out every 2 weeks at that time. Okay,
gotcha. Okay, I was gonna say because were they like direct competition?
No, not at all.
Flavor was more hip hop. No.
Yeah, Rocket was in a class much more greater than anything the Flavor was doing.
Okay.
The Flavor was a zine, whereas the Rocket was a big business.
Gotcha. Okay, so for you, what was that transition? I mean, was it a big deal for you, like going from Flavor to Rocket?
Well, you had to really watch your opinions a little more because
on Rocket,
at the Flavor, you could sort of have free reign because the editing was very lax, and they would say you could write whatever you want, pretty much. Mm-hmm. I got to the Flavor, I wrote a real bad review of Sir Mix-a-Lot's Return of the Bumpasaurus, and I regret this to this day. Man, I was gonna be the tough guy.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah, I could blah 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 blah. Like, this record's terrible, and I regret that because it wasn't fair to the readers, and it wasn't fair to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Right.
And Sir Mix-a-Lot had a relationship with the Rocket that they developed over 5 or 10 years.
For sure.
And I torched that whole thing with my ego. And so that's a lesson I think I learned over the years is you got to be careful. You can share your opinion as strong as you want, but like at the Rocket, I'm glad they had a measure of a little more caution.
Okay.
So that there weren't so many things going out that were just shots fired.
Now, so they just yanked your chain a little bit. They didn't fire you, did they?
No, I got yelled at by Charles Cross, the editor.
The editor. So can you tell, since we're on that, can you tell me some of the stuff, like specifically that you said about the Return of the Bumpasaurus?
Oh my God, no. I can't, man. I couldn't. It's I go back and listen to it.
I mean, it's all water under the bridge now, right?
Well, I have a lot of feelings about Mix-a-Lot. It's a love-hate relationship.
Word. But you guys know each other?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No. I've seen his career, and I feel like everything he does is kind of magic, you know? And he's got this magic touch. And so to see that as an older person now, it's a lot. It's gratifying. As a younger person, I think I was part of the haters. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, there was a lot of hating going on with Sir Mix-a-Lot. I mean, because he was from my neighborhood, so and guys just felt like since he had made it, then he should be putting them on, and then the emotions and the feelings came on from there. You know what I'm saying?
But to be fair, he took it a little more. I was looking for more stuff like Swass with the boom bap and the Gore-Tex and some of that stuff off Seminar. And then he took it a lot more of a sort of R&B funk sound, like a crazy live band sound.
What was the single off of that joint? Was
Bucking My Horse, maybe Bucking My Horse.
Because I don't remember that album that much. I remember maybe I didn't like it either because I don't remember anything from it.
Yeah, he did 6 albums total, I think. But yeah, it's 5 or 6.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So you're sworn to secrecy on that. All right. So Mix-a-Lot, writing at the Rocket. Any really, really cool things happen at the Rocket?
Yeah, man, I'm glad you asked. I got to meet Jonathan Moore. And
John
a lot of people still don't know him. His rap name was Wordsayer.
Yeah, Wordsayer.
Basically, I got to shadow him for a full year as a writer at the Rocket. They let me choose my story. This was 1996.
Okay.
All right. So 1996, I don't know what anybody was doing at that time.
96.
I was shadowing Wordsayer in Belltown.
Okay.
At 3rd and Bell. He had a studio called The Lion's Den.
Okay.
And this is back when Blase Blah was part of the group Source of Labor with him. And a guy called Upendo and a guy called Kamikaze.
Okay.
There was 4 of them.
Kamikaze. Is DJ?
DJ Kamikaze.
DJ Kamikaze.
The legendary DJ Kamikaze.
Man, cold-blooded.
He'll mess around and put live drums and DJ at scratch at the same time.
Yeah, he's cold.
He's amazing.
I remember him from the Art Bar.
And so I got to shadow Source of Labor and then write a cover story all about Source of Labor in 97. So that was kind of like my 96, 97. I also got to write a cover story about tribal music, which is one of my all-time just legendary groups in Seattle. Is Tribal Productions,
Children,
Narcotic, Union of Opposites.
Yeah, B-Self and them.
Exactly.
Okay,
Fat Mom.
Vitamin D.
Yeah.
Dig it.
And so, yeah. And then, oh man, this is going into, I wanted to talk more about my records, but
hey, man,
I'll tell you a little more about me real quick.
No, we have time. It's okay.
And just to keep going. So then basically Demisi Velasquez, cool guy. He came into the office one day. I was over at Loose Groove by this point. So
Loose Groove
Records was Stone Gossard's label from Pearl Jam.
Okay.
He put out 14 Fathoms Deep, which was a rap compilation.
Grunge, yeah.
And so I was promoting 14 Fathoms Deep. Demisi Velasquez walked in because there was 3 tribal songs on 14 Fathoms Deep.
Okay.
They were dominating that record.
Was that a compilation?
Yeah, 14 songs out of Seattle.
Dig it.
And he's like, man, Novocaine, can you come work for us at Tribal? He headhunted me. And so I went over to work for Tribal for 3 years.
Dig it.
I was blessed, man. From 97 till 2000, I worked on Vitamin D's record, Table Manners 2. We worked on a Narcotic single called Narcosis. We worked on a Sensimilla single. We worked on so many records, and it was just a blessed time.
When you say worked on, what did you do?
Basically, Derek, Vitamin D would produce the finished music, and then we would basically be the liaison between the pressing plant, the radio stations, the magazines, because there wasn't the internet at the time.
Oh, okay.
So magazines, you have to get press.
Yeah.
And so we did all that. We would meet like 4 times a week, volunteer. Nobody got paid from it.
Right.
And we put Tribal on the map.
Yeah, definitely.
Based on the music that was already good.
Right.
I'm not saying like I did it for Tribal, but we helped put Tribal on the map as a executive organization.
Okay. So kind of like the footwork and liaison work. Okay. I mean, which is what everybody needs, of course. Like, you guys are the guys that the people that were behind the scenes that were hardly ever seen.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense because they weren't like, to me. It's so funny. Me and Vita, we joke about a lot of this stuff, but we had a really good conversation on a documentary that I'm filming, but because we had never really talked before. It was almost CD South End, but like on some music shit. It wasn't no crazy stuff, but I mean, like they were kind of, it was a friendly competition, right? So it was like me and Squeak and all the people, you know, from my hood, and then those guys over there, and you would look over there and be like, how in the fuck are these guys doing this? So it was you.
Well, I just remember
because it was me and my brother doing it by ourselves.
B Self had a good observation, and it's been said a lot of times, but B came in to one of our meetings that we met at Starbucks on 23rd and Jackson there.
Oh, dig it,
mostly. Yeah. And it would be me, Demisi, and a third guy named Nathan St. Clair. Shout out to Nathan.
Okay.
And it was boring work, man.
Yeah.
It's boring to do marketing to magazines. It's boring to do outreach to radio stations, but you do it. You do it because it gets results. And then B Self came into one of our meetings. He said, "Man, people are coming to me like, man, Tribal's all whoop de whoop," and he's like, "I don't feel like we are." And we just talked about perception is reality. If people perceive you as balling, you're balling.
Dig it.
There's no other way. Like, perception is the reality.
That's the truth.
That's why they say fake it till you make it a lot of times is so real and it's so effective.
Yeah, it definitely was. And they definitely made one of the bigger marks for Seattle and the Northwest, you know, in hip hop. You know, so man, shout out to you guys for that.
Yeah, like I said, we were the small part that came after the music. Because if the music wasn't good, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, definitely. Now, so just to piggyback, you were saying that it was boring work. It had to be gratuitous for you when you got the results.
Well, Tower Records had at the time a print magazine called Pulse.
Okay.
They don't even have Tower Records anymore, I don't think.
Right.
But Tower Records was big. That was the spot. And so they had Pulse magazine. You could pick it up when you walk into Tower.
I remember that.
I'll be damned if they didn't write a nice like half-page write-up on Do the Math.
Oh, nice.
That's in hundreds of stores.
Okay. Dig it. Yeah. Wow. That's
and that's
crazy.
why the CD copies of Do the Math still go for $300.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing about these some of the music specifically from Seattle, Washington, from the 90s. There's been this undercurrent of a collection and the value of each and every copy. I mean, like literally has what do you call it? Thousands of percent went up. That was that because you guys only had a CD. Did you guys have vinyl too at that time?
No,
that
only came out like 4 years ago. The Do the Math vinyl.
Oh yeah, Do the Math vinyl. Okay, so it hadn't come out before that.
No, that was like 2018 or 2019.
Did you do that one?
No, that's out of Europe.
That was out of Europe. That's right. Yep. Right. So stuff like that. I mean, there was Squeak. Like, I mean, I was getting contacted, in the early 2000s about that.
Yeah, Armabillion, is that what it's called?
Armadillo hit us. Well, they got a chance to do it first, and then we did a legit deal with the Most Wanted Records. Shout out to them. Where are they at? Oh shoot, I think they're in Italy. Wow. But and then they released some vinyl and stuff for Squeak. They were asking about Sandman at one point. Little Chris at one point. And they are still pursuing Central Dynasty.
Okay.
They want those CDs so bad, but we can't find any of them. So anybody know somebody from Central Dynasty? Wow. Germany, Japan, Italy, and France are looking for them, and you talking like $300-400 per copy. Yep. I mean that's crazy. Like, so what's your experience with that whole thing?
Well, I think to say like what it means for people is. It's if you wanted to translate it to our grandparents or our parents' generation, they would have a baseball card because that card would remind you of that player.
Definitely.
If you're all about whoever your guy is, you could have that card as a kid, as a young adult, even as an older adult, and it would still remind you of the baseball field, like going to the games. So I think for us now in 2023. These are all obsolete formats, Vinyl is still coming back, but it's obsolete. It's not sustainable for each person to buy a record of each song anymore. It's not sustainable.
That's right.
So even though it's having to come back, these are obsolete formats, and their value is in the nostalgia, and it's in the meaning that is held in that symbol. Like the circle is black. It's a black circle, man. You hold it, you're like, man, this is huge.
Right.
It's like something that means something to me as a former DJ.
Definitely.
Because I remember being in a dark room and shuffling 5 of those guys and like flipping it over to see what side A is, and then bam, put it on, and like you got 5 seconds left till the break comes in, and like so having records to me is very nostalgic to like my 20s for sure. Absolutely.
Definitely. Well, I mean, but vinyl it seems to be making a comeback, right?
Again, yeah, I don't think it's sustainable though. I mean,
Yeah, it's not sustainable, but it's definitely grown in the last 10 years.
I think it has its purpose. It sure does, but I don't know if each human needs to be a vinyl collector again,
Right.
Because the planet can't really handle that. Like we need to kind of, it's like disposable water bottles. Everything we do, drinking straws, plastic drinking straws. Like,
Right.
I think the more we think about that, what's happening 100 years from now, 200 years from now. That's kind of where my head's at. Man.
So you're saying that the death of the death of vinyl saved the planet? That's what you're saying?
In a way, man.
And then we're just now we have population control on vinyl.
Yeah,
not too many now.
It's mysterious. I'm happy to see it. I want to see the planet live for a long time.
Dig it. I mean, and that is very important. Now, what do you consider a short run on vinyl? How much do you do at a time?
Man, I got hyper tiny these days. I got up on Google and realized that pressing's not the only way to make records, and you can have records cut individually.
Word.
One by one.
Now, but I mean, are these like the audio files with the big giant crazy machine in the corner, and they're just taking your DAT and putting that one song on a record kind of thing?
Yeah, you could make 2 copies, you could make 20 copies. And with Lovesick Rhymers is the record I just put out. We did 50. So it's 50, tiny. Yes. Those are just for friends and family. And the value in that is a community of people that have it.
Right.
They could tell you, look, this means a lot to me.
Right.
I'm a Lovesick Rhymers head. Oh, you got the record? Prove it.
50. I mean, and so with short runs like that, and then placing it in the hands of those 50 people, friends and family.
Yep.
There's a value there, right? I mean, not a now I'm gonna sell it value, but right. It definitely, I mean, almost like a lineage. Even after we're gone, kind of value. You know what I'm saying? Because there's only 50 of these in the world.
Yep.
And I mean, and since Seattle '90s hip hop is still being sought out after all over the world, that there's easily a crazy value just from printing the album out.
And also these micro runs that we're doing, that I've been working on with Seattle artists, they're kind of waiting for the De La Soul model. And what I mean by the De La Soul model is 3 Feet High and Rising.
Right.
You know that story.
Yes.
It's been hidden since it came out.
Right.
They have not been able to stream it. They have not been able to release it.
Right.
Somebody took a look at the long term and they said, this is worth the investment to pay it's an average of probably $2,000 to $5,000 for each sample clearance a lot of times.
Right.
So somebody looked at that record and said, there's 80 samples. I'm going to have to invest X amount of money, but it's worth it.
So you're telling me, so when
that's the De La Soul model. So I'm saying like a record like Lovesick Rhymers or Chili Uptown, maybe they got a sample or two, but someone's going to see the value in that.
Yeah.
And someone is going to invest in doing the De La Soul model and clearing it.
Oh, clearing it. Okay, got you. Okay, dig it.
So then you could have an asset going forward that could be worth 10, 100 times, 1,000 times what you originally paid for it.
Wow. Okay. So and it has to be out there first for them to discover.
Yeah,
that
I just call that the De La Soul model because it's not been tried yet.
Right.
Most people try to get away with samples. Oh, they're not going to notice me. Oh, blah blah blah, and they will because of AI.
Right.
AI is about to find you. The AI is not a guy looking through computers to find your song. AI is looking at every computer in every city in 3 seconds. It just checked every computer in the world.
Tapped in.
And it found oh, there's your James Brown sample right there. Bam.
Right there. Yeah. And then send you a message, hey, you can't use that.
Yeah. It's real. It's real.
We like the one time I discovered how powerful the AI is and detecting samples of music was when COVID hit once again, and we all decided to get online and DJ. Oh. And we were getting struck down like the wrath of God. Everybody's like, oh my God, he's killing it. He's getting.
And people have to clear references now.
Yeah.
If you drop a line in your rap, you're clearing that now.
References, interpolations.
You're clearing that.
And then even the writer of the writer.
Yeah.
The writer who gave the other writer credit, who gave the other writer credit. Some of the stuff is defaulting to public domain, but not a lot of them.
Yep.
Wow. That's crazy. Now, how many records vinyls have you released so far?
It's been 6 since the pandemic, and so they had 6 total.
Can you name them?
Yeah, we started with Chili Uptown.
Right.
Then we dropped Nerdy B and Shelly Shell.
Yeah.
First lady in Seattle to have a full record. Amazing.
Yeah, I went to church with her.
Oh, yeah. She's so cool, man. She
Yeah,
was just here last month.
Yeah.
And then after that, I dropped a record called Brothers of the Same Mind.
Right.
And they got together after that record and reunited.
Really?
That's the kind of thing that you talk about. What does it mean to do these projects? That was really meaningful.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's dope.
They dropped a new record. And then last in that 4 series was PD2.
PD2. That's right.
Uncle Gaz, he was on your show just not too long ago.
Yep. Shout out to 3D. Yep. For sure.
Man, I listened to that show. That was dope.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I was telling you before, 3D. You got, you gotta let him talk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say some other stuff too, but he's gonna say it. But he had so much game. It was just falling out the screen. So I'm so glad that I got a chance to do that.
I listened to his songs and his lines just stick in my head like a fish hook.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm slicker than an oil spill spread across a hockey rink." I'm just picturing that. I'm picturing it, man.
That's slick.
I'm picturing it. That's Uncle Gaz.
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't stop, man.
Yeah.
I hope he has like 5 more records in him.
Definitely.
Maybe 10 more records in him.
I did attempt to hook up with him and make some music, but with the health and stuff, he's we're trying.
Yep.
Hopefully that'll work out. Now, okay, so you got there, PD2, and then what came next?
And then I got really excited about this group called Don't Talk to the Cops.
Right. Okay.
And they were not a rap group per se, but they had raps in their music, and they really are rap inspired. Okay. I think they wanted to take rap to its edges,
right?
Which meant like throwing some disco in there, like some house music, and a lot of dance elements, which to me just made it fun,
right?
And they sang about silly topics,
right?
And they've had a lot of success since then. In their own ways, Larry Mizell Jr. in the band is now the afternoon host at KEXP.
Right.
He's really one of my mentors and heroes. I've watched Larry's career as a journalist, as a print journalist, as a musician, as a rapper in Cancer Rising, as a member of, Don't Talk to the Cops. And he's a good inspiration for me to always be creative.
Right.
And never stop changing.
Yeah.
You got to evolve. If you do the same thing your whole life, you failed. Like, you got to just evolve and try to do new things if you can.
Right. Man, I remember when I met Larry Mizell, it was kind of messed up because he walked up on me and he started talking to me because he knew who I was, but I didn't know who he was. Yep. And so I just kind of like, yeah, okay. And I just walked off. Stupid.
Who's this guy talking to me, man?
Yeah, then I think I saw a picture of him like on Facebook or something. I was like, oh. But he also had 206 Proof.
Oh, right. The most fun message board ever.
Crazy.
I was up on there for a minute, man.
He put me a song of the week, and I thought that was like the best thing ever. And it was like walking into a bar and everybody saying Norm. You know what I'm saying? For me, because people on there knew me, like they knew me in a hip hop way, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I hate that thing ever ended, but you know,
everybody was united in hating on C Real Records.
Oh, that's right.
Oh man, that poor guy, Dub B, poor Dub B. He took a beating, man. But yeah, the proof was amazing. That's like a legendary moment in time.
Definitely.
Just people just capping and dunking on people. And,
yeah. That's where I got my my internet legs, because I was taking stuff that people were saying to me personally, like, I'll see you in the street, and then I get like a side message like, bro, we're like, we love you, bro. Like, it's not. Oh, okay.
People got their feelings hurt though.
But because you have to. That's how you have to have thick skin to play that game.
Yeah, but then the last one is just came out about a month ago. You've had some of these guys on your show already, but basically, like, Swing One was down with Lovesick Rhymers, Lovesick Larry down with Lovesick Rhymers. Like, so many people were down with Lovesick Rhymers, and
Marcus Knight.
Yeah. Oh man, of course. Yeah. And because their label sort of stopped working, basically quit, not for any reason or any kind of drama, but the two guys that were running the label basically kind of stopped the label. Right. And so here's a group that has maybe 50, maybe 60 songs.
Wow.
Maybe 60, maybe 70. Yeah. I'm going to go to 70. Maybe 70 songs that have never been released except for one of them. Hold Tight to the Rhythm.
Hold Tight to the Rhythm with
dope
DL
single
on there from
great
DMX.
Single from '92, but that was the only song. I'm talking about a group that have Oh man, so many songs.
I feel your pain.
So many songs.
I already know. Like I like that. Yeah, I mean, and great music too. Yeah. Now, so did you guys like? So when you were approaching them, did they have to like kind of pick the music and then put the album together?
No, not in any of the cases.
Oh, okay.
I only basically do reissues, and so this was done. It was on a DAT tape.
On a DAT,
but they never put it on a commercial release. Oh. So they had the album done on a DAT.
Okay.
So we didn't have to. We just changed the order of the songs.
Dig that.
Yep.
Okay. So they were gonna put that album out, and they just never did
because the label just kind of closed.
Yeah, just kind of. Yeah. That was a
lack of communication, and then people had different goals, and boom. And also, Easeman, I want to point this out. Easeman points out that what was going through rap in the early '90s was gangster rap. Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot to Snoop and NWA. Mm-hmm. Everybody in Seattle wanted to be NWA. Mm-hmm. They all wanted to be gangster rappers, and then it carried over into action too, not just raps.
Yeah, it did.
And Easeman talked to me a lot of times. He's smart. He's a smart man. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He said, "Look, I'm going to go to the reggae scene where they're chilling, where they're smiling, where they're smoking herbs, where there's good looking, he's going to the reggae scene because the rap scene wasn't fun for him.
Right.
He pointed out, like, this is, they were in the 80s. LSR is like an 80s group, which is all about fun and dynamic activity and dancing on stage. And then if these guys are just sagging their pants and talking about gunfights,
true that.
He's just like, I'm out. See ya. That's not my game.
Right. Yeah. And he became a phenomenal reggae DJ too.
For real.
Dance hall, man. I watched him a few times.
Yeah.
Back
Shout
then.
out to Ease, man. He's
man,
again, like I said, evolve.
All of them, yeah.
If you evolve, I think you always chase your best self.
Dig it.
And he said, look, I got to chase my best self. Mm-hmm. I'm loving this dance hall dub scene. Let's get into it.
Right. Wow. Okay. So 6 releases. Anything in the hopper or that you can talk about or?
Oh, man. I just talked to somebody today. He'll know who it is, but we're just talking about beginning the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
But all I can say is this is kind of a puzzle, but the one I'm trying to work on would help me in a trifecta because there's an old situation where there was PD2, Brothers of the Same Mind, and a third group were featured somewhere. And that third group might just be the group.
Okay. Dig that. So, man, this is wonderful. Like, I mean, this vinyl thing is like, it's really exciting. Anything you want to ask me? Or?
Well, I'm fascinated, first of all, by Scunt Denunna, okay?
Okay.
Now, one night you and me were talking and you said he's got a whole unreleased album.
He does.
Now, would you remember the first time you met Scunt or how did you guys get to be like a work together?
Scunt Denunna was Lil Mafia.
Yep.
And so that was one of those things where we always knew as kids in the neighborhood, him and his twin, they were the twins that lived down the street over there off of Rose Street. Okay. And so I always knew of them, of course, then, but we were like 8 or 9.
Wow.
But I didn't, I just, they're twins. So, like certain kids stand out. It's like, oh, those are the twins. So I knew them then. And then way later, right after I got out of high school, when I started making music seriously, 151, because I went to school with 151, and he wasn't really into rap right then, but he brought Lil Mafia to me, and then he was recording in my bedroom on my 4-track.
Wow.
Yeah, and me and him have a running joke where I tell him all the time. I made quite a bit of money with him because of music, but he never gave me a dime. Because he always had some girl coming to bring me some money, but and he was the one who, well, there was a few that went from the transition from my bedroom down the street to Cidewayz Studios on Rainier and Rose.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I met him and I showed him how to structure songs, or how to write 16s and come up with choruses and stuff like that. And he will always credit, and this is not me, but he'll always credit me for showing him how to make beats. Or I'll say he watched me, and I didn't show him a lot, but he watched me, and then one day he was like, "Look, I make beats." I'm like, "Wow." He's like, "That's because of you." So yeah, that's how I know him. And he introduced me to his brother like later on, and I was making music, quite a bit of music with him too. Yeah,
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, that's the punchline king, man. Like Scunt's unstoppable. He just will say something every time you say, "How did you think of that, man? How did you think of that?"
He's cold. I mean, and just watching him write, and the stuff that he came up. I remember one time him and Swing were sitting in my bedroom, and he was recording this song, and he was saying something was hot like sauce. And he can't, he couldn't. He was saying he wanted to say Tabasco, so he was like hot like sauce, Tabasco. He spent at least 30 minutes saying tobacco, and we could not get past that word tobacco. I was stuck in my head, like, and we were just sitting there cracking up. But I mean, like one thing about, I mean, if you want to talk about dedication, not to take anything from anybody else who's ever had, lost somebody or something like that, but Scunt literally lost his daughter and his niece in one morning. He was at the studio that afternoon. Wow. Not because of any kind of neglect or anything, but he expressed himself all day that day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because that was how he dealt with it. Of course, that's hard for life, but I remember because when he came. I don't know. Old Dominion, right?
Yep.
The group they were Oracle's Creed at that time, and they were at the studio, and we looked up and was like, "Man, what you doing here?" He's like, "Man, I got to record." Wow. They had a session, and they gave their session to him that day. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of that's how much is in him. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So man, shout out Scunt, man. That's my guy.
Yep.
Now, so with you, did you ever rap at all?
No, thank God.
So,
thank God.
So, if you can you paint a picture outside? Well, not outside, but still inside. For you, your experience with hip hop in Seattle in the '90s. I mean, what was the energy like to you at that time?
Well, I wasn't connected to the scene back then really as much as I am now.
Okay.
It's ironic. Most people, they would drift apart from a scene.
Right.
I really launched back in 2020.
Okay.
And actually, this will answer your question with something else I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
2017, we lost John Moore. That was I was mentioning in Word Sayer.
Yes.
And we lost him in 2017. That year was when everything started for me.
Okay.
Because I realized that this person who had been the most inspiring person to me was gone. Now I had a job.
Okay.
I'm going to keep him alive in my words, in my deeds, in everything I do. John has to be carried with me.
Dig that.
Because he was such an inspiring person to me. I cannot put it into words. So I went on to YouTube and did a little 10-minute thing. That was my favorite top 10 songs by Source of Labor.
Right.
It was 10 minutes long. It's really clumsy. I have a lot of cuts and edits, but I just said, I don't care. I want to give this to John.
Yeah.
And it's still on YouTube today. And that was 2017. And so I realized, okay, I really want to keep going with this. What can I do? I did a Ghetto Children list. I did a Specs Wizard list. Shout out to Specs Wizard.
Okay.
O.G. Specs Wizard. I talked about Beyond Reality a little bit, about Spice E a little bit. Elisa, who's dope.
Oh yeah, Spice E.
Peace. I talked about Peace a little bit. So basically that was all just little YouTube videos that were 10 minutes long. But then the DJ in me said, I want to reissue some of these on vinyl.
Right.
Like we said. And so it's really 2017. That was when it lit my fuse. And I said, John is going to be in my heart and I'm going to tell people about him.
Nice.
So I started a company called Overstanding Seattle. And Overstanding was the name of a song that John did.
Okay.
So, and it was also a word that was part of hip hop, thanks to Goody Mob and that Atlanta scene. John had lived in Atlanta right before Goody Mob came out.
Okay.
So he moved back to Seattle, and that's when Source of Labor dropped in 93, 94. And so basically I started an organization called Overstanding Seattle, which to me means I want to know everything I can about every aspect of Seattle rap. It's an impossible task, RC.
It really is. It looks small when you're like, oh, I can do that, and you get into it, you're like, I can't.
There's thousands of them. Thousands of them.
I already know because attempting this documentary, and I have my list, and then my videographer was like, word. That's how, okay. You know how much that's gonna cost, and so I was like, man, I can't leave them off. So I already know, it's vast, vast.
So basically, yeah. So I did that through the pandemic. The pandemic's over, and I want to get out of physical, and I want to get into publishing publishing music and books. So what I brought today, I wanted to show you this.
Okay.
This is a book I'm working on, and I need to ask your listeners for help too.
Okay, man, that's what we're here for.
Because basically, take a look at the table of contents. We're talking about some people like Terrible 2. That's your That's your older brother, and Eddie Wells.
Yeah,
Eddie Wells and your older brother was Terrible 2. You got Jam Delight. That's Mellow Mike and Big Boss Cross.
That's right.
Mellow Mike is one of the dopest spitters out there.
Word. Because one of those guys passed away.
Boss Cross passed away. Rest in peace.
Yeah, okay.
But you're talking about Cosmic Crew. That's Frostmaster Chill. And you're talking about Snap Crackle Pop. You're talking about, of course, when they became Emerald Street Boys. Then you're talking about Silver Chain Gang.
Yeah.
These are all the groups from 80 to 81,
MC
82.
Rock. Yeah.
And so basically, I've decided to do a book and cover the first 5 years of Seattle rap in a book.
Wow.
So I'm almost done with it. I've talked about 40 people. But what I need your listeners' help is, if you know anybody who was rapping in Seattle before 85, you got to get in touch with me, because I want their story to get told in this book. And speaking of which, I was just watching the F. Lee episode, and why did he say, "Oh yeah, my sister rapped back in like 83, 84, and I was beatboxing for her." I'm like, "She what?" Because I've never heard about her before. And thanks to your show, I wrote it down at home.
Oh, okay. You found okay.
But basically, I learned about it from your show.
Word.
And so podcasts have a lot of power. That's why why I'm putting this out to your audience. The PD2 record came about because of a podcast.
Really?
That's true facts. I was listening to Supreme LaRock and Topspin.
Oh yeah.
Okay. They had a show called Can You Dig It?
Yeah.
Can You Dig It? That was the name of their show. They interviewed J-Rod.
Okay.
J-Rod was the guy that ran PD2.
Right.
So J-Rod, he just mentioned offhand, he's like, "Yeah, man, we had this record ready to go." And then 3 got into trouble, man. Gaz got into trouble, and then that was it. But I heard those magic words. He said we had a record ready to go.
Ready to go.
On a podcast, from his voice to my ear.
Right.
And that's how the record came out.
Wow.
From a effing podcast, brother.
Let me tell you something. One thing about that is that you could have heard them be like, "Oh, that's interesting," and you could have just went and made a sandwich.
Yep.
You know, but like for you to have pursued that, and I mean, you put the record in my hand. You know,
because nobody raps like Gaz. Nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Like, cause even on that interview, man, he was busting, and I was just sitting here. I was sitting at this table. You know, he's on the phone. I'm just like
you said, he puts on a voice. He puts on that voice.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that,
man. So I mean, this right here is it's a clearly, you know, I mean, a labor of love, but it's definitely beneficial to because everybody not everybody, a few people in Seattle want to do something like this or something like a documentary, or, you know, I mean, there've been compilations tried, or, you know, events, you know, everybody like, there's a respect for O.G.s in this city. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And this kind of stuff right here, I'll just, you know, make it live forever. So don't forget, you guys, if you guys know anybody who's rapping
all the way up till December of 85.
Okay.
All the way through the end of 85, we're going to go that far. Cause basically Sir Mix-a-Lot's first record came out like November or October of 85. I just love my beat.
Gotcha.
With the Square Nuts rap on the second side.
Now, would you happen to know what the first hip hop record in Seattle is?
Well, I mean, this is the first rap record in front of you, Little Ray Rapper.
What year is this?
That's 81. But I'm not going to say it's the first hip hop record.
Oh, okay.
Because hip hop is a culture, and rap is an activity.
Right.
So Lil Ray Rapper got there first, but he's not connected to hip hop culture.
Right.
It's way more connected to novelty culture and kind of humorous albums. Which is a genre.
All right.
And so he combined rap and humor to make this record, which is unmistakably RAP, but I won't call it hip hop.
Now, I was talking to R. Curtis, and we agreed, possibly, that Emerald Street Boys record was the very first one.
Hip hop. Yeah. I agree about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But this guy beat them by 2 years.
Yeah.
So again, it's all about your language, your terminology, and what you consider real, quote unquote real.
Yeah. I'm definitely have to check this out then because I was wondering, I was like, because I had that record, like I remember my brother gave me that record and I literally played it until like the needles slid across
Christmas rap.
Yeah, Christmas rap and the move on the other side, and then I actually found them online about I think a couple more, but I mean, it's all dope. This is great. This movement's great. That book is gonna be phenomenal, by the way.
Yep. I'm really trying to get Mellow Mike. Anybody who knows Mellow Mike, that's one of my guys I really want to talk to. But I've been blessed to talk to almost everybody.
Okay. And so I mean, I got some people rattling around in my head. Maybe you have, or maybe you don't.
Yep.
Anybody else who knows anybody first 5 years of 80, basically. Who rapped here in Seattle, or is it Seattle or Northwest? Seattle. Okay, specifically Seattle.
Not even Tacoma.
Yeah, not even Tacoma. Okay, sorry Tacoma. but you gotta because you can't cover everybody. That's like me making all like these compilations.
Yep.
And when it comes out, how come I'm not on it? You didn't put me. I mean, I don't know. Like I did my best here. Like, gee whiz.
There's 17 people on there. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So, but you can't make everybody happy. But maybe that'll spark a Tacoma one. Maybe somebody will.
Yeah. That's not my job. I think somebody knows more about Tacoma than me.
Definitely.
That would tell the story. They would be able to tell the story better.
Yeah. You can only talk what you know.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yep.
Man. So Novocaine, I'm so glad you came here.
This is dope,
man. I mean, what you're doing is dope. I got to listen to them records. I actually had, well, no, they're not here, but I had the other records you gave me in here. Man, I wish you luck on this whole venture. The book, the vinyl. Look forward to whatever's coming next. Is there anything else that you want people to know or that's coming up where you can be found? Maybe.
Here's what I was thinking about, just with like parting words. It didn't come up in our conversation, so I'll just say this.
Please do.
I have a theory that is not my theory and it's not original, but I think it helps me. It lends a lot of. It helps me my engines turn and figure out what I'm doing. We all know that you can't ever say there's a good song versus a bad song because you can't say there's a good painting versus a bad painting, or a good kid versus a bad kid. Everyone there's differences.
Right.
Some songs have this, some songs have that, but if a song is true to itself, it can be as stupid as it needs to be, and people will love it. And I'm going to say, like, here's an example, like Laffy Taffy.
Right.
All right, here we go. Like, there's a song like Laffy Taffy. You go, man, Novocaine. Anybody who says Laffy Taffy is worth listening to is just messed up in the head.
Right.
And I'm like, but there's that one part of the day or that one party when that little beat comes on and your ear just goes ding ding.
Oh man, ding, that started a whole movement.
Ding, ding, yeah. And you start, it just gets in you. And so I think the reason Laffy Taffy succeeds is because it doesn't say it's something it's not. It admits what it is. And here's my theory on that too. Watch this. I'll end with this. Barbie Girl. All right. That was written by this weird group called whatever they're called, Venga Boys or somebody. Barbie Girl. All right. That song was ridiculed when it came out. It was ridiculed for like 20 years. It had a little success, like a Never Gonna Give You Up, that genre, like making fun of it again.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Barbie comes out the movie.
Yeah.
Who made like $100 million last year off of their song? Tell me, RC.
That's crazy.
Who made so much money that they can't spend it off of the dumbest song ever?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. Be yourself. If you're making a song, I'm a Barbie girl, be that. And then 20 years later, someone's going to make $1 billion movie about Barbie and you're going to get 10 million just for your stupid little song. That's my ending, man, because that's how music works.
Hey, man, that being said, this is a sideshow, man. My man Novocaine in the building. Man, we're going to get up out of here. Thank you so much, sir.
Hey, it's my super pleasure to be sitting in the same chair with, like I said, G-Prez, Soul the Interrogator, F. Lee, all these stars, man. It's cool.
I appreciate that. Peace out, y'all.